Dear Petco, while I really appreciate your laser-like focus on my food, grooming, and vet needs, we need to talk. You guys need a hobby.
Copper, come here, boy, come here.
I love the outdoors. I love doing things outside, and I find it hard to believe that others have not really had a chance to experience that. For Outdoors is connecting people or organizations in need with the outdoors. Dogs2DogTags, matching dogs with vets of hardships. It's really amazing the healing that it's done. I feel like that we can shed some light, and I think we're going to do a lot of good. I know for me, my struggles, I went through pain pill addiction. The last time I took a pain pill was in '98, and I was taking 15 at one time. And I say this because you and other people who have gone over and fought in war, whether they've been injured or they've been injured but you don't see it, mentally. Finding something to positively affect you, something to kind of wake up and say, this is something good I'm doing, which is what this is. D2D, or Dogs2DogTags.
What we do is we take dogs from either the Humane Society kennels or donated dogs, and we train them up for PTSD and suicide prevention, and we give them to the veterans so they don't have to actually pay for them because they're quite expensive. They can, get up to $50,000. My job was to train military working dogs and then train the Marines for them to use it in Afghanistan. And a friend of mine that I worked with was like, hey, we have this program going on. We're teaching dogs how to find bombs in Afghanistan for our young Marines, and it's saving their lives. There was no better opportunity for me to pay back to my country. The best decision I've ever made in my life, bar none. Chris had an IED run-in and got his injuries, and he was one of my dog handlers.
When I got injured, that was the first thing on my list, was to try to get Harley back.
He got a hold of me when he was in Frankfurt, Germany. He's like, I need Harley. I called everybody I could. The guy who ran Bastion and said, we're gonna fly the dog to Frankfurt, Germany. So my battle to get his dog to him while he was, recovering is kind of what spurred the whole thing out about Dogs2DogTags.
Chris obviously is the first recipient, and I'd like to hear how it's worked out for you.
Harley's been, there for me, even when I felt kind of at my most alone. Like, I'd just look over at her and I instantly knew that there was someone who not only loved me, but relied on me to be there for him. So she was always a constant source of inspiration for me to keep going.
But it really kicked in when I got home and guys from the battalion started killing themselves. It kind of evolved into, I'm a dog guy, I love my Marines. Can I save dogs and help my brothers not kill themselves?
I've heard of the servicemen that are committing suicide, how many a day? It's pretty disheartening.
One of my closest friends killed himself. I'm talking with Jim, he's following me through what I'm doing. He's like, man, I love your idea, that's such a great idea, man, we're losing so many guys. And he had a rough time. He got his life turned around, he had 2 daughters, he got a new job. He moved up really fast, he was in charge of leading people. It seemed like his life was going great. He's like, I want a dog. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm busy, I'm working on it. I'll get you a dog, I'll get you a dog. And then he killed himself. I didn't get him a dog. We interview the veteran and find out what his life is like. What are you doing? Are you active? Are you not active? So we look for the tempo of a dog to match the personality of a human, kind of like we did with Steven and Copper.
My sister Sylvia, she was in the ROTC program for my high school for the Marine Corps, and she already was gonna join. And then she ended up passing away before she could actually graduate and go into the Marine Corps. And at that point, I kind of just decided upon myself that I would go to the Marine Corps for both of us, since she didn't have the opportunity to. So since the 5th grade, I knew I was gonna be a Marine.
Training handlers was unique. A lot of them came in and some of them never even had a family pet. They were from all different walks of life. But when Marines show up, they show up.
And I was actually very excited. I'm actually gonna get to work with these dogs. I'm gonna do what I wanna do.
You have to put the dogs with the right people or it's not an effective team.
We're matched up by a personality test. I had Buzz. Buzz was a big, physical, energetic dog, but at the same time, he was very obedient and respectful. You get paired up so well with these dogs that they feed off how you are because that's how they are. So these dogs are pretty much just a version of you. Being a dog handler, you're entrusted with your platoon. They're putting their lives in your hands. So that put a lot of pressure while I was in the training, and I took it to heart. I tried to do as much as I could. I mean, I had an amazing dog. Buzz was just perfect. We flowed together. He would wait for commands. He did what he needed to do, and it was a perfect team. By the time we were done with training, my platoon actually trusted me with Buzz to the point where if he couldn't find anything, they knew we could walk straight.
While I was deployed in Afghanistan, I saw what the dogs were capable of, and it truly amazed me, the amount of lives that they can save.
My dog ended up finding a 100-pound IED. It was impressive. Like, at that point, that's when everybody started realizing how important these dogs are and how much they actually mean. They saved a lot of time and effort in a lot of people's lives. The day that I was getting on the bus to go out, I called my mom one last time and I tell them, you know, I'm leaving, I love you. And that's when she decided to tell me that my dad had cancer. So I was dealing with the fact that I thought I was losing my dad. I was going through a divorce. You know, I had a lot going on. Duarte was able to talk to me and relate to me and help me. I was woken up by this loud boom. The message we got was Duarte stepped on an IED. And it was really tough when we lost him. It was very hard to deal with for me for a long time. To this day, I still have trouble dealing with the fact that I lost him. But when he wasn't there, Buzz was there. Buzz could read me like a book. He would just immediately cheer me up. And I knew that's what he was trying to do. He never liked seeing me in pain, and the fact that he could actually know when I was in pain just meant so much to know that he could actually care. When I was working out, another dog handler came and told me, hey man, something's wrong with Buzz. So I immediately put my stuff down and run over, and he's on the ground and he's hurting, his nose is dry, he's barely moving. A type of viper snake came up from the river and came up to Nole and got into the dog kennels. And for some reason, he decided to go against Buzz, and Buzz gave him a run for his money. They were able to give him the anti-venom, but it was just too long. And I was there with him day and night. I slept on that floor with him for the 2 days that I was there. I had never left his side. And on that third day when he finally went, it was pretty rough. And you know, it's something you just don't forget. The moment I felt like I was actually out of the Marine Corps, I think, is when everything hit me the hardest. I have to wear sunglasses every day since my deployment. I was blown up 3 times. My IEDs all hit either my mine roller or on the left side of the vehicle where I was driving. Later on, I found out that I had 3 traumatic brain injuries from those. If I have my sunglasses off for like 10 minutes, my nose starts to bleed and I start having this huge headache that just doesn't go away. My back was messed up as well. I had 3 collapsed vertebrae on top of each other. I took narcotics, I'd say, for 1.5 years. I wasn't feeling it as much, so I started abusing it. I started drinking a lot. When I would get blacked out drunk, I would lose control. I mean, either it was an aggression or I was just broken down crying. And I would not remember the night. I would have somebody there the next morning and they would just look terrified. And I was in denial. I thought I was in control. I thought I had a pretty good grasp on it. I thought that, you know, people were coming to me for help. That means I'm doing something right. But in reality, I was drowning just like they were, and I didn't even know it.
When I called you and I asked you if you had a dog that you could potentially get trained up for Steven, who has a little bit of an anger issue, a little bit of an anxiety, and he's looking for a mental health companion dog, what specifically turned that dog on to you for being a good fit with Steven?
Well, when you called, I knew it was Copper. My daughter's been actually dealing with like depression. Copper's just so affectionate, so loving, like there for your needs. And you see my daughter just change. He probably would have went to the police.
Yeah, he's got a human personality, not a police personality.
And I realized it with him, with my daughter and stuff. You can't change a dog's personality. And
no, you don't want to.
Nope, and he's a lover. He wants to make you happy. And that's why I think he'll be a good fit.
When I see Copper, I'm reminded of my dog. She passed away. She was 12 years old. She was a chocolate lab. No matter how many interceptions I threw, Sam thought I was the greatest quarterback in the world. I know I could always turn to you, Sam.
Yep, and that's the unconditional love that we're trying to get to the veterans in need so they don't have to pay for it.
This is a chocolate lab, obviously. She looks identical to mine. We're gonna give Copper to me.
Yes, what we're gonna do.
No, I'm gonna take it home with me.
Copper, come here, boy, come here. What's up? Hey. What's up? Yeah. Hey. What's going on? Nice to meet you. How you doing, sir?
Back memories.
My first dog that I had as a handler was Buzz, black lab, beautiful, good size like this one. While I was in Afghanistan, he was my biggest rock. I mean, if I had any time that I was down, he instantly knew, and he would try to do everything he could to pick me back up, to make sure that I was doing all right. Yeah, it's been very difficult. I wouldn't realize when I would get so angry and frustrated. To me, I thought I was just being me, and to everybody around me, they're kind of like stepping back and putting up a guard, and I didn't want to be that way. And at first, I thought I was working on it. I thought I was doing good, and I didn't realize how much help I actually needed until it was too late. And it was hard. Life hit me really hard at one time, and that's when I finally realized how easy it is to have those thoughts. Because the moment when you have that thought about, well, I could just end it. It's crazy how the moment I thought about that, everything started going away. All the pain started going away, and that's when I realized how scary it was. And when I felt that, that's when I started reaching out, and like it was like almost the next day, all of a sudden I get a phone call from Tori. Hey man, we got your dog. And I knew, I was like, no, like I gotta keep pushing.
And again, you're seeing friends being killed, this uncertainty of what today will bring. I couldn't imagine the stresses. Then you gotta, at some point, go back and deal with the real world. And that's, I see your face light up when Copper comes running over. And
the moment I saw Copper, so much relief came from that dog, and so much joy comes back to me. I haven't had a dog since Buzz, and this has been a big help so far.
I've enjoyed the conversation. I really appreciate you, letting me into your life a little bit, and not to mention your service to our country, the sacrifice that you and so many others have made. I think there's some good things in your future. I really do. So I wish you the best, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care of my dog too, by the way.
Definitely will.
I want you to know that we're here to help you. So how can we help you guys?
Just being a part of For Outdoors and what your goals are to help other people, and the recognition that you would bring to our program to help veterans is going to be outstanding.
And I can personally attest to it that having a dog is absolutely life-changing. I do think it is a solution to a problem that has been around for a while. The problem right now is just getting the help that we need to get these dogs to the people that need them.
And I think the best way anybody can help is by donating to the cause. Get us a kennel. We need kennel space. We need to get dogs trained up. I need to get these dogs to our guys so we don't have another gym.
I feel like having this companion and making that connection again will actually help me bring peace and help me realize that I do need to reach out, that I can reach out, and are others that I can talk to help me. And if not, the dog itself, the fact that he's willing to be there and he's willing to help me, and that it's there for me, even just thinking about that brings me comfort.